Hello and welcome back to another video of RPA UIPATH project. So I have already given the brief introduction about the project in the first introduction video. And if you are new and you are joining from this video, please go to the description. I have mentioned the link of the entire playlist there. So this is the schedule of each video you can see on your screen right now. And all of these videos will be available on the mentioned dates. And the link of the playlist will be available in the description of each video. So that you can click on that link and reach on the playlist directly. But if you are starting from this video, you don't have to worry about other parts because you can start from anywhere, and in the end the video number 6 is where I will connect all the workflows. So you can start from video number 1, you can start from video number 4, you can start from video number 5. You don't have to worry about the starting point, but watch the complete video together at one time, okay, so that you understand the entire flow. Otherwise you have to do some revisions once again. Here also I will take 1 minute of time and explain about the project. And if you have already seen the video number 1 in detail description about the project, then you can skip 2 minutes from here. Now, first of all, you can read all these instructions which right now you can see on your screen. Pause the video here and have a look on all these points. And I will take you to the Excel file for the better understanding. So this is our data. I have taken this data in Excel. You can take this data in SQL table or in your queue, UiPath orchestrator queue as well. So we have to loop through each row of this sheet, and then we have to go to different counties. So you can see the county name is here. There are 3 different counties and we have created different workflow for each county. And then from here we have to pick detail. We have to pick the URL as a first step. When we have the URL, then we have to break this address. From this flow which we are going to create now, we will create these common variables. So these are the arguments, and this argument will be used in video number 6 when I will connect all the flows together. These are the 5 arguments which we will use to take the information from one flow to another flow. All right, so you can have a look here. First of all, I need a owner name. So owner name is coming here. I need a house number. So I have to break this address to get the house number. So when I will break the address, I can break through comma and I can break through space also. And then street name and then pin code. So how we will take this street name? We will break this address through comma and then we will remove house number from there and then we will have the street name. So I'll just select the part, which part I am talking, this one. So if I remove the house number, this part, only this part will remain. So that will become the street address. And then we will take the pin code. So when we have all that information so here I have mentioned more in detail. You can pause the video and have a look on these points. And this is the flow of the transaction. These first 2 boxes we will cover into one workflow which we are going to create now. So in this UiPath workflow, we will read the data, all 3 columns, and from there we will get 4 values. From those 4 values, we will break the address into 3 more parts. So total count of values will become 7. From these values, we will go to the county and we will call only one county workflow, which is based on the name of the county which is coming. Okay. And these are the county workflows which are already created. Okay, let's start today's agenda. So I have already created a project okay, so this is the project folder itself. You can open any of the workflow file. If you want to create a new UiPath project, and this is the first video for you, so you can go to home. When you will go to home, you will see this process. You can click on this process, and then you have to select the path and you have to give a project name. Our project name is title search. So I am just cancelling it as I have already created this. I will go back to the workflow file, and we have to add a new workflow file into this project. And we have to add a new workflow file into this UiPath project. So click here. You will see the workflow icon. Workflow. Click on workflow. Click on workflow. And let's name this workflow as, okay, we don't need this sequence. We will take one UiPath flowchart. So Control Shift T is the UiPath shortcut to get activities list. Flowchart. And then you have to rename this flowchart. The shortcut is F2 for renaming the activities. Read data. Just open this flowchart. You can drag this. Okay, now first of all, what we have to do, we have to read the two different sheets, Excel sheets. So I am using UiPath workbook activity to read the data from these two different sheets. You can use UiPath Excel application scope as well. So in UiPath Studio, you will see this activities somewhere. Sometime it will be into newer version, it will be down here also. You can check. So you can select the activities from here also. You can select UiPath activities from here also. Just drag the sequence here. Name the sequence function F2. So in UiPath or any other development, you should keep naming your scopes. Read, and then connect this sequence here. Take one UiPath read workbook activity. Control Shift T. Sorry, that is UiPath read range activity. So there are two kind of range. One is Excel and one is workbook. I am using workbook here. I have to give the path. You can click here on this icon in UiPath workbook activity folder icon, and then you can select the file. Just check the folder path before you are selecting the file. So if it is in the same folder where project is available, then it will not take entire path. But if it is placed on somewhere else or into some other folder path, you have to give entire path into UiPath read range activity. Now sheet name is details. The first sheet name is data. Okay, and you don't forget to remove this range because we have to read entire sheet. So in UiPath read range activity, you want to read entire sheet, then you should remove this range. Okay, and then copy the same activity, paste here, and then the other sheet is details. You can rename these also. Read range function F2, data, read range. Now we have to store this data into two different data tables. So what we can do is we can either create the variable from here, new variable. So one variable I will create from here, dt, which is data table. data. So what I have to do is I have to read this data table and I can change the scope also from here. Okay, so I will keep the scope into the entire workflow, and then I have to select the type of the variable. So system.data.table is automatically coming. You can browse types from here also. System dot data, and then just expand it. System.data.data table we have to take. All right, it will come here when you will click on this, but I have explained that how will you select if there is some other data type, right? So we have stored this. So when you will see, you can assign here DT data. So data which we will read from this activity will output will be stored here. Now I will tell you this other method of creating UiPath variable. You can click on this activity and go into properties. So you will see one section here which is output. Click on this, do Control K. Yes, Control K is the shortcut for variable creation. Then you can give the name DT details. So first table is DT data, another table is GT details. Okay. So this is our first sequence done. So now next is that once we have the data, we have to loop on each row of that particular data. And in UiPath, for each row activity is used to loop on the data table rows. So let's go and take UiPath for each activity or UiPath for each row activity. Okay, so here you see when you will drag UiPath for each activity to your workflow, you will automatically get one item variable created, and that item variable will be of table row type. And this side you have to give data table, which data table you want to loop upon. All right, so here is the data table and here is the row item. Now you just rename this body for each. And if you want to add annotations, which is very good practice when you are developing UiPath workflow. So you can right click the UiPath activity. You can go into annotation. You can add the annotation. So all the actions of a particular transaction will be performed within the for each body because we are looping on this data. So everything, whatever will happen, breaking the address, downloading the files, saving those files in the folder, and creating the folder, everything will happen for one record. So all the activities whichever will be there in the scope will be repeated for each row. That is why all the actions which will be performed will be inside this for each. So this is very important to note. Okay. Now the first point that we have to read the data. So to read the data, what I will do, I will take one multiple assign activity of UiPath. So in UiPath multiple assign, you can just create the variables, multiple variables, and then you can assign values. So to read this Excel file, we need three variables: borrower name, property address, and county. So let's go and create those variables. Control K, name, which is equals to the owner name in the argument. Add next variable. Control K, property address. Add next variable. Control K inside and county name. Okay, so we have to, when we are reading this data, we have to keep these first and the third variable as it is. But from property address, we have to extract some information, which you will see in the upcoming part of this same video. So now, how will you get the value of borrower name from the row item? Just copy the row item. So you can write entire value here. But what I will do is that I will open expression editor so that you can see everything what is happening. So click here on these three dots to open expression editor item, and then you have to give the column name, which is owner name here. Copy from here itself so that there is no scope of mistake. Dot to string. You just copy this line from here itself. Click OK. Go to this. Go to next variable, property address. Okay. Go to next. Name is column name is county. To string. Just save it. All right. So once we have all these three variables for testing, so just for the testing purpose, what we will do is that we will try to print them. So right line activity of UiPath you take, and in the right line, what we can write is text to display. Name will come in the first variable, which is borrower name, plus the second thing is address, that will come in the another variable which is property address, plus county, which will come in the another variable which is county name. Okay. Come back here, just see it is connected or not. Yes, it is connected. Save the flow, and you can debug the flow from here. You can run the flow if you think that there is no error. But if you want to see the output together when it is running, then you can debug the flow from here. And you will be able to see the output here. Okay, so the error is because the file is open. And when you are using UiPath Excel application scope, then this error will not come. Just close this, stop the flow, and debug the flow once again. So for run, you have to just click here in this icon, down icon, and then you have to click run. But I am debugging now, so not required to run. You will see the output here. The same output will be there in the. Now let's open the file once again for comparison. Okay, so I will just minimize this so that you can see the data. So you can match that all the rows are getting read by the workflow. Now I will go back to the UiPath Studio, maximize, minimize this. So you can adjust the height of this section from here. So there are so many things which I am telling here because this is the first video of the development, and many things I will not be repeating in the upcoming flows. Okay, let's come out. So now the next step is that we have to break this address into different variables. So let's have a look on the variables. So now we have owner name, county name is missing here. So IN county name. Okay. So we will take owner name, which is already taken. County name is already taken. Now URL and these three variables we required. So let's go ahead and get these values. Come inside the flow, take one sequence. Here just blue to multiple assign. You can minimize the activities by clicking on this up arrow sign. Sequence get variables. Go inside the sequence. Take one assign activity, Control Shift T, Control K, and what we need is, so let me re-explain that what we are going to do. To get the house number and to get the street name, what we will do, we will break this entire address by comma. We will create a variable called first cut. So we will have these two values in the first cut, which is house number and the street number. All right. What we will do second, that we will take the house number by deleting the, we will take the house number by breaking the entire first cut with a space, and we will select the first part as the house number. And then we will delete the house number from the first cut, and we will have this street address, this part of the address. Now first of all, what we have to do, we have to take a variable which is first cut. Okay, what will be the first cut? So you can use here, you can write the code here also, but I will go to expression editor because I have to visualize for your easiness. So split, split dot, and is in split, when you will hit open bracket sign, you will have this syntax available. You can understand that how many arguments this function required and which is the class of this function. So you can see here is string dot split is the method, and it requires two variables. First one is expression. First one is the string, which is expression as a string, and then delimiter by which you want to break the string. So our string is property address, the variable which we have created, comma. How you want to break this property address? Using comma. So in the double quotes, you have to give that delimiter. Okay, and once it is broken, we have to select which part? First part, which is 0. Okay, so just see once again, break this address through comma and take the first part, which is this part. So we have this part now, the first part before comma. Okay, so from the first cut, what we have to do, we have to break this first cut by space, and then we will get the house number as the first part of that particular split. So just create one more variable, Control K, house number, again split, Let me go back to expression editor so that you can see what I am doing. Split. Inside split first first cut, which so first cut is our variable which we have just created, and then we have to break that first cut by space, and we have to pick the first part, which is 0. Okay, so we have the house number now. When we have to get the street name, so what we have to do, repeating again and again, that we have from this entire first cut, we have to remove this house number, and then we will have only street address. Okay, so let's go back. Take one new UiPath assign activity. So take one new UiPath assign activity from UiPath activities panel, or you can use shortcut key also, which is Control Shift T. Assign, Control K, street address. Okay, and street address will be, you can write here. I will just write here. So you can write the code here, but I will again use expression editor of UiPath. So here we have to write street address. So we have first cut dot replace. What we have to replace, house number, with what? With the empty string. Okay, so that will become the street address. And we got street address now. And next is zip code and URL is left. So to get the zip code, I can directly take last 6 digit, but I want you to understand about how to use regular expressions in UiPath. So to use regular expressions in UiPath, we have two activities, match and matches. Here we will be using matches because we want to get the values. We just don't want to get the. So first of all, let me show you that how to prepare regular expression for zip code. So I will open regex101.com. I will take any sample address from here. You can copy first address itself and paste. And then first of all, we have space. Create as of now. And then we have digits, which is 0 to 9. And then how many times we have those digits? 5 times. That's it. So you can see that it is selected. So you can copy this pattern from here. Go back to UiPath. You can do it from here also. Just select advance, come down advance, and then you can give pattern. But for the easiness, I will go in properties. I will give my pattern here. This is the pattern. Click OK. And then you have to give your string. So my input string is address, property address. Okay, and it will give me multiple results. So it will return the collection, matches activity return collection of the search results. So what I will do, I will create one variable to store all the results with all all zip matches is the variable which will store all the results. Okay, and from that result, what we will do is we will take Okay, one more assign UiPath assign activity, not multiple assign. Then create the variable zip code, and the zip code will be the first value out of the match results. All zip matches, and then first part. Uh, okay, so we have the zip code now. Now next is we have to get URL. So to get the URL, what we have to do, we have to take this county name from this table. After taking the county name, we have to go into this table and we have to select this URL. So I will be using LINQ queries. So LINQ is LINQ in .NET, and I have a note of few queries already. So you can see on your screen right now. If you want to save the screenshot, if you want to use these queries anywhere, you can try. So the example you will see just now. So I will use this and then I will change the values. So this is the value, column value, okay, and this is the column name, and this is the row function from here. Before that it is data table. Okay, so this is how the syntax is. So I will take assign activity first of all. So we have to filter the table. So we will make the name as, we will create a new variable as dt dt filtered table. So dt filtered table will store only filtered results. So now I will come back here. Expression editor. So my table name where my data is stored is dt details, and the column name is county. We have to take this column name, and where from where we are getting the value. So the value should be equals to the county name, and county name is, I will just go once again. So we have read this table first, and county name is coming already in the variable which we have created 4 to 5 minutes back. Okay, so we have to pass this county name to filter this table, details table. So county name from data will be used to filter details table. Okay, so the variable name which we already have is, so since we are using the variable, we have to delete these double quotes, county name. DT details is not declared, so DT details. So we have to come back here and go inside and then check the scope of the tables. So you see the DT data is accessible, but DT details is not accessible in entire flow. So we have to change the scope. here. Now let's go back and see. Now that we have created a new variable just now, if you have seen this DT filter table. So we have to change the type of that filter table variable. Whenever we will create a default variable in UiPath using control key, the type of that variable will be set to a string. But we have to change that to data table. Okay, now there is no issue. Second point, which is like we have to keep the accessibility of these all variable in the entire body of for each. So we have to change the scope from here. Okay. So now we have a filtered table. From filtered table, what we have to do is that we have to select this URL. So we have already filtered the table by the county name. So let's say if county name is coming, automatically only this first row will come, or let's say if there are 10 different rows into this table or into this data from with the name of view page, then all of those rows will return. But what we have to do that we have to select the first row item, and from the first row item we have to select this URL out of the filtered table, which is filtered by the county name. Okay. So for that, what we can do is we can create a variable now finally, URL, and go to expression editor, dt filtered table dot dot rows. Which row we have to select? First row, top row, 0 dot item. Which item we have to select? URL dot to string. Okay, so this is how we will be getting URL. All right, so now we have URL also, zip code also we have, and I think all the details we have now. Yes. So now this is time to test that yes, if all the values are coming perfectly or not. So I will just save this and let me check the scope once again. So this scope we have to change for body. I will come back. So inside this one sequence is this multiple assign, one sequence is get variables. Now we will just take one write line activity of UiPath. We will take one UiPath write line activity to print the data in UiPath. And so I will come into this text, display text, and you can use this line name I have written and plus a variable house number plus house number variable. So I think you can see all the details on your screen right now. So these are the variables, and this I have just given the name in double quotes with colon and hyphen sign. Let's run this sequence now. So I will just do save, and then I will close the file before I debug. If you are using Excel application scope, you don't have to close the file. You can see data here. Yeah. Let's go in the output and see. Adjust the height from here. You can see the name, address, and the URL. So you see first, second, and third. Three counties are the orange counties. You can see the county name here, county name orange, and the URLs of orange county here. Okay, if you want to match the data from this sheet, you can match the data. It is matching. Just have a look on this. Now come back and compare this. All right. So we have got all of these values which we require to assign to these arguments to call the county workflow as per the design of this project. I will go back. So we have all the details now, all the seven details which will go and we will call the county. So since each record belongs to, since each record belongs to one county, only one workflow file will be called from these developed files. I have developed the county workflows. So if you want, you can just see the county website from here. I will click on another link. I will click on third link. So in video number 3, we will see how to develop this county workflow and how to save the required documents. Same thing we will do here for Miami County, which is in the fourth video, that how to develop the workflow and how to save the data. And same for the Orange County. So we have three different workflows in the three different videos. The link is available in the description. So you can check the link and you can subscribe to the channel for more videos on UiPath projects. If you don't understand any part in entire video, you can just do a comment on my video. With the time, I will explain you in detail. And please share my videos into your social media groups and recommend my videos to your friend. So that will definitely help me and that will help others also to learn UiPath. In the video number 6, I will explain that how to connect all the parts of this projects together. So you have to watch the entire series. It might take little time, but yes, you will be knowing how to create a real-time UiPath project. Thank you very much for your time. Happy learnings. See you in the next video.